Daddy, I'm in heaven now.
So sorry I died. I miss you so much.
What do Portland and furries have in common, aside from being considered weird? Furlandia. Last year I went to my first ever furry convention, and it just happened to be Furlandia 2025. I've been to my fair share of anime and gaming cons before, but honestly, most of them were nothing compared to Furlandia. Furlandia 2025 honestly made me feel really safe and comfortable. I had such a good experience. My roommate and I went. I made myself a shirt that I'll put up here, which says, "Sorry, I couldn't make my fursuit in time," and it's got like a sad face on the back. Honestly, it was just such a fun convention. Of course, it came with its fair share of issues. It had too small of a venue and it was really overcrowded. But even so, it was such a fun convention. While I was there, I was able to make new friends and honestly expand my horizons a lot more than I even thought possible. And it was just such a nice experience to be able to finally interact with a community that I'd wanted to be a part of for so long. Okay, warning, this is gonna get a little sappy, and I'm really sorry. Actually, wait, give me 1 second. Hold on. Okay, so I was planning on making my first little blushy cheeks for this because I thought it would be cute and kind of funny, but it started taking way too long, and it's 1:45 in the morning when I'm making this. So, um we're just gonna proceed because I don't care that much about the bit. I'm not committing to the bit. I'm sorry. Anyways, so last year when my roommate and I went to Furlandia, we decided to go to the sketchbook swap, and it was a lot of fun. I didn't bring my sketchbook, so I just borrowed a random piece of paper from somebody, but I had a blast. It was amazing. I met such a nice group of artists. They were all so sweet. We had such a good conversation. We inevitably parted our ways, unfortunately, and I haven't kept in touch with most of them, but they were really cool. That being said, this is so gay. Oh my god. There was one person that really caught my eye when we were talking, and I later found his Instagram and followed him, and we started having more conversations. I'm really happy to say that Furlandia was a little different this year because we weren't just strangers or like acquaintances or anything. We actually went together. After having so many issues with relationships in the past, I personally feel very lucky to have found such an amazing person at a furry convention. I've definitely heard my fair share of horror stories of dating both inside and outside of the fandom. So I'm very happy and I feel very lucky to not only have a group of friends that is absolutely amazing and cherishes me and loves me for who I am and what I do, but to also have a boyfriend who feels the same way and also shares a hobby that I'm very passionate about. I don't mean to gush or take away from the rest of this video because this video is about Furlandia, but a large part of that for me was meeting my boyfriend. And I think it's very important to put success stories out there. And also, I just like really like him and he's really cool. So, I don't know, it's very important to me to show the people who I love that I love them. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. But gross gay part over with. We can move on to the actual part of this video now. So this year I did think that there were a lot of improvements, and I think that staff honestly did a really good job. The sense of community was still there, and honestly, it was stronger than last year in my personal opinion. I also do want to applaud that Furlandia actually doubled its attendance this year, which I'm pretty sure makes us the biggest furry convention in the PNW. I'm pretty sure last year's attendance was about 2,700 and this year's was almost 5,000, which is crazy. I do really appreciate the new venue they chose. I think it offered a lot more space for everybody. I think we're all very aware how much space fursuits take up, especially full suitors. While writing the script for this video, I did put a mark in here to make a joke about furry inflation and taking up space, but I think it's better for everybody if I just don't do that. So I'm just gonna leave that there. The dealer's den was also a lot better this year. It was a lot bigger. And like last year, there were a lot of amazing vendors and artists, but this year there were just so many more options. I know with so many small businesses and artists that I definitely overdid it a little bit on the spending. Um, I guess I really will be living the college life of mac and cheese and ramen cups for the next, couple weeks until I can make my money back. I don't regret anything I bought though. My personal favorite out of everything I experienced this weekend though was definitely the dances. I'm gonna put a quick warning here because I'm gonna play a few clips. They do have strobe lights in them, so if you don't want to see flashing lights, totally fine, just skip to here. So the dances went every night from about 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. I personally thought the DJs were really amazing. I was there on Friday night and I saw this really cool set where he had the sound like going from the different speakers and like interacting with the lights. It was just really cool to see. After about 10 p.m., there was a minor curfew, which I actually did really appreciate. As an adult in the furry community, I personally don't really mind when minors ask me for photos or just want to have a conversation with me. I have no problem with that. I love meeting people at furry conventions and saying hello, but that being said, there does have to be some boundary. I really appreciate when conventions let adults have fun and let loose while still keeping it safe for people under 18. That's why I appreciate minor curfews so much. I really like that they allow minors to have fun and enjoy the dance while still keeping a boundary and allowing an adult space for people who'd rather have that. Like I said, I was there on Friday night. The DJs were awesome. If you saw the conga line, that was us. One of my friends started that. It was really, really fun. I had a really enjoyable time. This year, the only thing I wish I'd done more of was panels. I personally only made it to one panel, and I like barely made it. Like, we had just parked and like run inside to make it because one of our friends was actually hosting a panel. My friend, the Snow Leopard Komori, held a BIPOC panel on Friday, and I was really pleased to be able to be a part of it. I think panels like that are very important with an ever growing fandom, and it opens a lot of discussion that is very healthy and good to have. I also want to shout out a few of my friends who were in the dance competition. I'm so sad I didn't get to see y'all in person, but I'm so proud of you guys. You guys did so good. Here's a few little clips of that. So, what were my issues with this year? While the space itself was much bigger, the increased attendance still made it seem a little too small. I don't want to put too much weight on that critique though, because I do think that the convention staff probably just didn't anticipate an increased attendance with this big of a jump. Building off of that though, the dealer's den line was excruciatingly long. I didn't make it Saturday because by the time I got to the line after the fursuit parade and everything was over, it was already around the building. Like, there was no way I was going to get in unless I waited hours. Similarly, we had to queue for elevators, which was extremely annoying because we stayed in the con hotel to have easy access to our room. Me and a lot of my friends were actually joking that it was elevator con, and I heard a lot of other people using that term too, which I think is really funny. But I do think the increased weight on elevators made it more difficult for people to get to their rooms and also more difficult for accessibility. Overall, I don't think that there was enough accessibility at all. Not only were the elevator lines long, but the only other way between the first and second floor were stairs and elevators. I know for fursuiters with mobility issues, low vision, things like that, it can be really difficult to have to go upstairs in an escalator, and nobody wants to wait 30 minutes to go up the elevator, so I know that probably caused a lot of issues for people. On Sunday, there was an emergency. I personally was not really present for it. I only kind of saw the tail end, so I don't really want to speak on what the emergency was or what happened, since I'm not personally educated on it. However, I did see staff struggle to get down the stairs and escalator to the first floor to get to the person they were trying to get to. So I think next year, just both staff and attendees need some better pathways. My biggest critique, though, out of everything I've listed, my biggest critique is how many canceled fursuiters were at this event. I know it's impossible to keep every single bad fursuiter out of a convention. It's just not possible. And also, I do realize that unnecessary bewares are a very big problem in this community. However, two of the people I saw at this convention genuinely made me upset to see. I won't go into extreme detail on either of them because this video will be like an hour long if I do, but I do just want to briefly touch on a few things they've done that make them unfit to be at this convention. So, starting off, Werewolf Prince or Romeo was someone I genuinely looked up to for a while. As a trans guy in the community, I was really excited to see another trans guy with really cool art and such a cool suit. He's just like, he looked so awesome. I started hearing rumors about things he'd done a few months after I became aware of him. I didn't really do much research on any of those rumors, so I kind of just brushed them off. But I did choose to unfollow him after hearing he'd been rude to a close friend of mine. I then promptly forgot about him until very recently. I won't talk about any of my personal issues on him, but I do want to bring awareness to a product that he was selling on Etsy. Unfortunately, his Etsy actually is paused. I don't really know what that means. It just says it's paused and that like I can sign up for an email for when he returns, but that does mean that I can't actually put a photo of this product up. I'm kind of glad I can't though, because I like having a channel and I don't want to get my channel banned. So, yeah. Werewolf Prince was selling a fursuit pattern for a piece that would go on your fursuit that resembled anatomically correct dog genitals. Werewolf Prince, do you not realize how wrong that sounds? Like, genuinely, I'm confused. As somebody who works with dogs a lot and is actually getting an undergraduate in animal psychology, that's disgusting. Selling things like that gives furries a bad name, and I can't believe that Furlandia still allowed you to vend after all of that, because that was a very recent thing that came out about you, and the fact that you were still able to make money at Furlandia is kind of baffling to me. Your art is extremely cool, and honestly, in another universe, I personally think I would be a huge fan. But you selling stuff like that is just not okay. Although, I am glad I was doing my research on you because it led me to my new favorite tweet. Okay, I'll have to blur the actual image on this tweet, because it's not appropriate for YouTube. But my new favorite tweet says, unboxing my new mini vibe while reading the new Werewolf Prince 666 Beware. That is so fucking funny to me because all I did was search Werewolf Prince 666 Beware, and this was one of the top results that came up under his actual like personal website and Etsy was this tweet. And oh my god, it's my new favorite thing ever. This is so funny. Okay, so back to the actual video, right? Even grosser than Werewolf Prince was Kitty Snail being there. Her Beware was really recent and, in my opinion, very noticeable. So I'm very surprised that Furlandia let her through the doors, especially since it was an all-ages con throughout the day. She created her own response to Her Beware, and I will link it down below. I think it's very important to have both sides of a situation before judging anything. However, I do not personally believe that Her Beware excuses her actions. Kitty Snail commissioned CP art of her and her partner's personas in a sexual manner. She says that it was to deal with her trauma, and I do fully believe that, but I do not think that this is something that needs to be dealt with publicly. You should not be posting art like this for any reason. It does not matter what it's for, you should not be posting art like this publicly. And as somebody who has gone through their own trauma with intimacy, I really know what the lasting impact of that feels like. And I do empathize for other people who have gone through similar things like that. If you have gone through something like that, like, I'm truly sorry. It is probably one of the worst things that could ever happen to you. And I want you to know that you're not at fault and there are people out there that love you. I'm very proud of you for getting through whatever it is you're going through. But while there are very healthy ways to cope, I do not think commissioning your art of your persona as a child having sex is a healthy way to deal with your issues. Kitty Snail is also somebody who holds local persona and trading meetups in the Portland area, and they are all ages. I think parents with children in the fandom need to be extremely cautious of her, especially since a lot of her meetups are geared towards young adults and teenagers. I think at an all ages convention, such as Furlandia, her behavior should be held to a higher standard due to her previous actions. Okay, holy rant, that was so long. I'm so sorry. If you would like a full video on either of those people, please let me know. I'm happy to do my research and actually do some digging and find further stuff to talk about, but I didn't want to take away from the rest of this video with just talking about them. I do think it's very important to bring awareness to people like that in the fandom, especially when they are going to all ages conventions. However, we have so many awesome fursuiters in this fandom that I love so, so much, and I want to bring more awareness to those people as well. So, I'm just going to shout out a few of my friends who are super cool, and you should all go follow. Starting off with my boyfriend, Grub the Bug Dog. Also my roommate, who's literally in the room over there, cocomut_. Okay, Yuri, I've been trying to say your username for like 3 minutes now. I'm so sorry if I butcher this. Yeah, anyways. TS Encephalopathy, Mullet Mutt, Zombie Kitty 8, Goat Graveyard, Sprinkles.fur, Minty Kamori, Subliminal Kai, and Special Strange Posting. Go follow all those people because they're so cool and genuinely some of the best people I could ask to be around. Yeah. And they're much better than the people I previously talked about. So just go support them. They're really cool. Overall, I'm very happy with how Furlandia went this year. I think there was a lot of improvement, and I had a lot of fun with my friends and just with everybody that I met there. Thank you so much to everybody who said hi and took pictures with me. It was so nice to meet everybody. I really hope to see you all soon. And also, I want to thank everybody for 500 followers. That's really cool. So I really appreciate your continued support. Even though I like low-key ditched my channel for a while, that was my bad. I'm so sorry. um, but yeah, those are my overall thoughts on Furlandia. If you guys have thoughts, I really would like to hear them. I'm very curious what other people thought, or if anybody had any interesting interactions or experiences at Furlandia, please let me know. I'm very curious. And if you stayed till the end of the video, clearly you like my content, and you should, go hit that button down there, or the multiple buttons down there, or go, yeah, follow me, please. I want to start posting more videos like this that are a little bit more commentary and on the furry fandom. So if you have any other ideas, please let me know. I'm thinking of switching my channel more to a commentary style than gaming. I do really love gaming, but this is way more fun for me personally. I like to talk to a camera and I like to script everything and like write stuff out. So if you have any ideas on things you want me to cover, please let me know. I'm very interested in hearing your guys' thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.